Hi, everybody. Welcome back to this week's vlog, Christina West, Art and Healing. And I just want to thank you so much for the amazing response to the Harvard Divinity School's 100 Years of Rudolf Steiner conference coming up, last week's vlog. Marvelous response. I'm stunned by the beautiful response and the many emails and signups I've gotten. I'm so thankful. So thank you very much. And if you haven't taken the time yet to subscribe, please hit that subscribe button. I am in the long game trying to monetize to get back home to Santa Barbara. And viewers like you are helping me get there. So this week I have something very special planned because now we're entering into the holiday season. And you can see behind me this beautiful Norway village going up into the heights. And this is Bergen. I saw this image and I knew I had to do it for Olaf Asteson, the Holy Night's Dream Song that Rudolf Steiner discovered. Today, I want to invite you to hear a story. Once upon a time, long, long ago, in a land far, far away in deep winter, a little boy falls asleep on Christmas Eve, and for 13 days and nights he sleeps, and he wakes up January 6th, and he runs down to the church, and he tells the congregation, his community, these marvelous journeys he took through the 12 holy nights. And if you don't know, I wrote a book on the Olaf Asteson Dream Song because every year I release Olaf Åsteson once a year over the holy nights. It opens December 24th to January 6th. And this is an initiation poem that the people of Norway, not so very long ago, actually had in their dreams when they would go to sleep over the holy nights. And I have here the short talk that Steiner gave because this dream song was lost in the ages of time. And a clergyman named Landstad in Telemark, Norway, one dark, cold Norwegian night heard it, and he realized it was an oral tradition, and he wrote it down. And through a series of those synchronicities that are marvelous, it came to the attention of Rudolf Steiner. And Rudolf Steiner, as a clairvoyant and a seer and an initiate himself, recognized this as an initiation dream song of what every human being undergoes when they die, called Kama Loka. However, you don't have to die to take the journey of Olaf Åsteson. And I fell in love with Olaf. I think it was 1995 when I first started studying it. And every year I did it on my own. And over time, when I learned how to create videos and do this sort of thing and how to edit on iMovie, I created this dream song, and I'm an artist. I'm actually an anthroposophical artist, very interested in what Steiner brings in the arts. And I decided to write a book. I was so inspired by Olaf that I wanted to give people a opportunity to how can so I wanted to give people an opportunity to love Olaf the way I love Olaf. How do you fall in love with a poem if you're not? But because I'm a dream teacher, I thought, well, dreaming is a great way to do it. But how do I bring it to the attention of the world who has never heard of Olaf? So I decided to create a podcast. I located the actual melody of Olaf, and I've collected it all together, and I've created a marvelous 12-day, 12-night Olaf Åsteson Dream Song, Art and Dream Retreat. But the marvelous thing about Olaf is it's a shamanic, pagan, it's a pagan, or we could say shamanic initiation dream song that people could live into over the holy nights naturally when they would go to sleep at night. But I thought you might be very interested, considering we have Rudolf Steiner at Harvard. This Olaf Asteson, he came in around, he gave a number of talks on it. He was very excited by it. And I have here one of the first talks that he just is introducing the dream song. And for those of you who are interested, you can go to ChristinaWestArt.com. I've made the Olaf Asteson so you can read about Olaf and see some of the pictures and what the class is, because it's not just reading the poem. And I've done a podcast so you can hear the poem every night. I've divided the poem into 12 nights so you can read parts of the poem. The entire poem is divided. But also, every night there's a new constellation, there's a new zodiac sign from starting the 24th, 25th, 26th. Every night there's a new zodiac sign, and every night Olaf has a completely different adventure in the underworld, we could say, in shamanism. And so many people all over the world, countless people all over the world have asked me about teaching them the shamanic journey. So I'm finally doing that, but that will come in January after Olaf closes. But I just want to alert you to that. I've been teaching shamanism since I worked with Michael Harner in the early 90s, and I've been teaching shamanism to men and women in the men and women's groups, but also advanced shamanic work since the 90s. And I'm still doing soul retrieval work and private work in my private practice. And I've been doing that ongoing. So I'm available for that if you're interested in those healing modalities. Everybody wants to be a shaman, or they want to learn shamanism, or they want to draw their power animal, or they want to learn about shamanism. What better way to learn about shamanism than Olaf Åsteson's 12-day and night journey? It's called in shamanism a long journey because he's journeying far, far, far away. And in our training with Michael Harner, he gave us many lost and forgotten death and rebirth ritual ceremonies. And I was so lucky to work with Michael Harner because he, as you know, is a world recognized shaman by indigenous shamans worldwide. And he had tremendous power and a great sense of humor. If you don't get results, keep your day job. Meaning, if you don't get results in your shamanic work, make sure you keep your day job. I love Michael and I miss him. So hats off to Michael Harner and the Foundation of Shamanic Studies. Olaf Asteson. We're so lucky to have a forgotten dream song that's from the ancient oral indigenous traditions that comes from Norway, and that Rudolf Steiner, as an initiate, could see and recognize it was a initiation tale of what human beings go through when they cross the threshold. Now, remember, we cross the threshold every night when we go to sleep. So the holy nights is a perfect time to cross the threshold. It's so glorious, Olaf. And it's such an adventure. It is really the hero's journey or the heroine's journey. And there was actually a King Olaf as well, but this is not about King Olaf. This is about Olaf Asteson, a youth. And the youth, you could say, lives in all of us, right? Also, I can't help but make a plug for the art and dreamwork book that's on Amazon. And that is full color, and you have at the back of the book 12 days and nights journal so you can write your dreams, because it's very, very important what dreams you have, what dreams may come over the holy nights. Because the secret of holy nights, and there's many secrets of holy nights, many of which you'll learn if you take the class. The holy nights are 12 days and nights that are actually pictures of your next year in 2026. And another wonderful secret that in Holy Nights is that anyone born, this was especially true in the old days, anyone born on January 6th in the old days had been initiated in the womb. In the womb, they had been initiated. This is a deep, deep secret mystery that Rudolf Steiner also revealed about Holy Nights. And we have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful woman who was born January 6th, and she changed the world. And her name was Joan of Arc, Jeanne d'Arc. Our sweet, young Virgin Joan was born January 6th, and she was contacted by Michael, Saint Michael, and was given her life path to free France. And she did so. Tremendous courage. I hope I've piqued your interest in Holy Nights and what they could mean for you this year, because Holy Nights are so significant because you can't do them any other time of the year except Holy Nights. So I have people all the time, all year long, contacting me saying, can I do Holy Nights? Can I take the class? Because the class registration is only open, and it's open now, by the way, so you can register, but we open the Holy Nights officially. The class starts on Holy Nights, December 24th. So the 24th, the work on the 24th, the dream on the 24th, the dream song poem on the 24th is only to be done on the 24th. I have a special gift for those also who will be doing the dream song with us at ChristinaWestArt.com. You can get the book on Amazon. You better order it now, though, because it is print on demand. And also there's Kindle. So it is the biggest book you can get on Amazon. It's a paperback, and you've got lovely images. So have I piqued your interest enough to actually read this for you from Rudolf Steiner? So I'm going to be reading it over here. The Dream Song of Olaf Åsteson. Now, Steiner gave lectures between 1912 and 1913 on Olaf. The Dream Song of Olaf Åsteson. A significant folktale is to be presented. It is about the young Olaf Asteson, who lives in the saga of the Norwegian people. A dream of this Olaf Åsteson is told in a truly folksy, poetic form. A dream that the people imagined filled a long sleep of 13 days and nights, those 13 days and nights that lie between Christmas Eve and Epiphany, January 6th. These 13 days play a role in many folk traditions. To understand what is expressed in such traditions, one must imagine how relatively recently people in rural and mountainous areas felt an intimate connection with the course of nature. They felt differently when the plants sprouted out of the earth in spring than when the ground stretched bare in autumn. Differently when the sun burned hot in the sky at midsummer, and differently when the snow clouds hid all the sun's rays in December. In summer, the soul lived with nature. In winter, it withdrew into itself, lived within itself. This withdrawal of the soul became particularly intense towards Christmas time, when the nights are the longest. And then it was so for the soul that it withdrew from the outside world as in falling asleep, when the eyes no longer see and the ears no longer hear. A brooding of the soul, occupied with itself, occurred, which became like a dream in particularly predisposed people. Then some souls experienced their immersion in the spiritual world particularly vividly. Everything they felt about hope in life and worries of the soul, about guilt and sin, came before them. And just as dreams take on special forms when morning approaches and the first ray of sunshine falls on the dreamer's still sleeping face, so the brooding and dreaming of the soul takes on a special form when, from Christmas onwards, the sun begins to appear earlier in the day, when the approach of the new dawn is felt. Anyone who has ever lived with mountain or rural people is familiar with the dream experiences that we are considering here, which introduce the folk soul to other worlds. Nowadays, however, such experiences are no longer so common. They are disappearing as locomotives and factory chimneys invade the landscape. In many areas, even the legends of those old dream worlds have already faded away. In areas that have been less influenced by modern industrial and transportation culture, such as certain areas of Norway, beautiful parts of that mythology have been preserved, as in our song about Olaf Åsteson. It comes from ancient times. It was recently rediscovered by the Norwegian people and is spreading quickly so that many people now know about it again after it was long lost. It tells about a long dream that Olaf Asteson dreams, which he experiences the fate of souls after death. The idea behind it is that after death, the soul wanders among the stars, and that it comes, for example, to areas where the constellations of Taurus, the serpent, and Canis Major are close, and that it comes into the spiritual proximity of the moon. The soul enters worlds by crossing the Galger Bridge, which connects the earthly world with the spiritual. In many folk tales, the rainbow is presented as this bridge. Part of this spiritual world is Bruksvallen, where the deeds of the souls are weighed and retribution is meted out to them. The way of this dream song presents the experience, points to the time in which it was formed through folk poetry. These ideas about life after death are not yet entirely Christian. They are partly those that were still formed in old pagan times. However, the time in which Olaf experiences this dream song is already presented as Christian. This is evident not only from the fact that he tells his dream at the church door, but also from the fact that Christian ideas about Michael and Christ play into the pagan ideas of the Galger Bridge and Bruksvallen. We are dealing with a folktale that it is probably 8 to 9 centuries old, because that is how long ago Christianity entered Norway. By presenting this poetry, we would like to draw your attention to the life of the folk soul, which, through the formation of legends, such as that of Olaf Åsteson, shows that it was aware of its connection to the spiritual worlds, which inwardly experienced images of this connection, that it gave it the certainty that the spiritual world exists. For anyone who approached Olaf and said, "There is no such thing, science has proven that," would have been looked at quite sympathetically by Olaf Åsteson, who would then have smiled sympathetically and said, There are more things in heaven and on earth than you can dream of in your school of wisdom. Mm, the end. So that's the end of that lecture, and that gives you a wonderful spiritual pictures because when Steiner speaks of the folk soul, we have to imagine that Steiner talks about there are angels in every mountain. There are angels in the land. And the people who are the pilgrims in the pilgrimages of Compostela who go to Santiago and they're walking the land, and sometimes it takes 3 months, that this is called a land initiation. And the angels who are guardians of that folk spirit are working with the people who are slowly walking day by day, sleeping night by night on the land in hopes of reconnecting themselves to the spiritual world through their pilgrimage, through their walk. This is called a land initiation. A pilgrimage is almost forgotten now that this was really a initiation, a walking initiation across the land and reconnecting to an ancient spirit that lives in the land. Now, if we even think about the trilogy, about Tolkien's trilogy, and you think about those mountain fights of the gods that come out of the mountains and they're throwing parts of the mountains, which are actually avalanches in a human world or in the dwarf and the Tolkien world.
This is no thunderstorm. It's a thunder battle.
What bless me? The legends are true. Giants! Storm giants!
That these are real beings that still live in these mountains. And because we've become so materialistic, we can't penetrate anymore unless we do a fast, like in Lent, we do a fast, or we do a fast if we do a vision quest, or we do a fast maybe over the holy nights so that we can lift ourselves into the other worlds. And remember, holy nights, you are falling asleep with Olaf every holy night. And I wanted to keep this short, but I tend to go on way too long when it's Olaf, so I'm going to edit this. But welcome to Olaf Asteson. Registration is open, and you get it at the best possible price now. And for those who sign up now, you will get a free ebook with when Olaf starts, which will be a dream book for you. And those who, when registration closes, you are no longer able to do Olaf with us. It's only once a year, 12 holy nights. So please sign up early and save your space. Thank you so much. This is Christina West, and with Rudolf Steiner and the spirits of the land, Olaf Åsteson awaits. For you, come and join us. Olaf Åsteson at ChristinaWestArt.com. Registration is open. You can read all about it because there's classes, there's art, there's drawing. You can draw the dream poem segments. You can do a journal. You can write. And that journal and pictures that you make over these 12 holy nights, you can look back on over the next year because they lay over each of the months. So you're doing a shamanic art and dream song journal for yourself for your next year, and only you can do it. And it only happens during the holy nights, December 24th to January 6th. You can sign up at ChristinaWestArt.com. Thank you, Rudolf Steiner. Thank you, Olaf Asteson. Thank you, healing spirits and mountain spirits and folk spirits. And if you haven't subscribed yet and you like my content, please subscribe. Give us a like. Tell me, have you read Olaf? Do you know about Olaf? What do you think of doing a dream and arts retreat over the holy nights? Come along, join the company of Olaf. Let's get creative.